Nice having you here, everyone. If you have been following the series of my Python for data analysis class, you would have seen a lot of videos I drop on healthcare analysis. So in today's video, we're going to be creating this particular project right here. At the end of the project, we're going to be looking at the numbers of deceased under treatment and how many patients got recovered. It's something very simple. All you have to do is to grab the data set we have actually used for this particular project if this is the first time, and let's get into the class. In our previous videos, like almost 4 videos right now, or 5 videos, we have actually, answered those particular questions right here. So from 1 to 7, and today we're going to be focusing on this particular one, which says, what are the percentage of the following patients: deceased, under treatment, and recovered patients? So let's see how we can actually get this done inside Python. I am using Anaconda and I'm running, Jupyter Notebook right inside it. So you might want to actually follow along as well if you are using the same thing, or you can actually use Google Colab or any other platform you can run Python right on. So if you have the Jupyter Notebook on Anaconda opened, you're going to have this. So in our previous videos, we created a folder inside this particular desktop here. If I double click it right now, it has it open. Then I'm just going to go straight up to Python project, double click it. Then we have 3 files here. We can actually add one new environment for our coding. Okay, this is actually blank without any name now. We can have it renamed right here by doing this. So now it has opened it. Project. So it's 05. So if I'm not mistaken, we can go back here to verify it. So we have the 4th one. So this is the 5th one here. All right, we have this. The next thing is for we to understand the data that we have before we actually start connecting to our data. If you check the file you downloaded from me, it has health_dataset. So you can actually copy its parts. And let's go back to this environment here. So quickly, I'm going to do connecting to data. So markdown. Okay, this is good. So to actually add more cells, you hold your shift key and enter key to add multiple cells that you can actually use for a project. Now to connect quickly, I can just do we are going to some kind of creating a chart. So I am just going to do under importation again. As PLT. So once I'm done with this now, the next thing I can go down over here and try to actually, collect the file and store it inside data frame. The easiest way is just for me to go ahead and say file_part. You can name it anything you like. It's just a variable. So over here inside this, I'm going to paste this right. So make sure you have an R right here. And quickly we can just go down and do the for data frame. This as well can be named anything. So it's just a variable. So inside here, what we're going to do, we're just going to do pd.read_csv, and once we have done this, we pass in the file part right here, and that is all we need to do. So if I go down now, so we can actually go ahead and read this. It's something very simple. The F here. So now here we go. We can read this. Can you see? You can see everything we have here. So this is what we have, but we don't need to actually read this right now. We can actually go ahead and get this off because all we need is just to connect to the data before we start, programming this. So you can delete this from here. Okay, now that we have actually connected to our data, what is next? So you can paste your question right in here. So just type this out to actually understand what is actually going on. So it says, what are the percentage of the following patients, like diseased, under treatment, and recovered patients? So you have to understand your data. You don't have to go to Excel to have your data opened. You can actually open it inside Python. Come over here, and now we are going to step off to this particular desktop again. If we scroll down, we can see the health dataset Python here. Double click it, and here we go. We have this here. If I double click now, so right now I have this particular view that can actually help me to glance through my data quickly. And if you look at it, we have where it says treatment status, right? So this particular treatment status has recovered, it has diseased, it has under treatment. This is what we're going to use to actually answer this particular question, because right here it does measure diseased, under treatment, and as well recovered patients, right? So how do we get started? We have already connected to our data right in here, so it is time for we to actually start doing things. So to have this particular question answered, we have to count how many patients in total do we have. It's something very simple. Total patients. So to get that done right now, we can actually do total underscore So what I'm going to do to actually have it count is just to do my data frame, which is the df. Don't forget that df is this right here. So what we have done is to actually get a part of our data and actually read the data into this particular df right here. It looks like we have the whole of this particular, table, rows and column inside this particular df right now. So we can actually use it to filter what we have right in here. So what we need to do right now is to get the total numbers of total numbers of the people that visited the hospital. So we're going to do dot shape. So we pass in 0. So once you have done this now, you can do total underscore. So what it gives you is actually, 8,000 people, right? This is the numbers of people that visited the hospital. So we can leave this here and continue from here. And this time around, we have to actually get the count of the diseased. Let us go with the diseased first. Okay. So to calculate the total patients that are normal, so what we can actually do right now is just to actually write a variable total underscore. So I might not pronounce this particular word right here because of YouTube guideline. Okay, but just know that this is what it is, right? So once we have this now, we can do df for data frame, and inside here now we're gonna say, okay, you know what? We have a particular column, and that column is called treatment status. You can verify that if it is true over here. Can you see now? Treatment status. So you just have to make sure you are very correct, otherwise it's not going to work. So once we have done this now, we are going to convert whatever is in there into a lowercase. This particular part here, I'm going to say is optional. I just love doing it. So str dot lower. So the next thing now, we're going to say, okay, can you help me check if we actually have something like this called diseased, right in it? So if this is true, we want you to actually go ahead and some kind of count, using the sum function here is going to create a count for you. So this is going to give us an error because we ought to have gotten, our bracket here open first. So now opened and closed. So this is exactly what we need to do to actually have this done. You might want to return this to see, what it is that is going to give to you. So now we have the number here to be 419. That is 419 here. So this is exactly what we want. The next thing now you can do, you can actually go into the next line here and try to convert this to a percentage. Remember, we have this particular part right here. To keep things easy, I might want to use another cell to actually have this done without combining them together. But just remember, you can actually use one cell to do a lot, or even almost all of this can be done in one single cell. But to keep things easy for you to understand every single line of code, I might decide to go over here right now to get this done. Okay, over here now, it could be so how do we get this done right now? So we can just call this underscore rate. So now over here inside our parentheses, this particular one here is our whole total patients, while this one is just the diseased one, right? So what we're going to do right now is to actually take this particular one right here, bring it in here. So we're going to divide it by this total patients right here. That will give us the percentage of the diseased patients, right? This is all you need to do. The next thing now is just for you to actually do multiply by 100 to convert it to a percentage. Very importantly, you got it right now. So to handle division by 0, we are going to actually say if this particular total patients right here is greater than 0, else just 0. I'm going to explain. So this particular rate here actually helps us to store the percentage of the diseased patients, and we do division between the this one and this particular total patient right here, and multiply by 100 just to have it as a percentage. And actually this particular part where we say if this particular total patient is actually greater than 0, else 0 here, so we're trying to actually prevent division by 0 that might give us any error, right? So this will definitely help us to determine the hospital mortality rate. So let's see if we run this, what are we going to have? So now we have this, but it's not actually appearing as a percentage. So what can we do to actually have it as a normal percentage? That is exactly what we need to think about right now. But for now, we're good. We have gotten it. Look at the result right here. This is the holistic number of the patients that we have had over time, and those are the people who actually did make it. And over here, this is the rate of people who didn't make it, in the hospital. So something easy, right? So if we go back up right now, we were asked to do for diseased, under treatment, and recovered right here, right? So let us actually do for the recovered patients. This time around, I'm not going to actually do all of this do it in different places. I can actually combine all of them together. So what I'm going to do right now is just to get it done now, let's kind of print okay, let me make it very easy for you. I'm going to print this one. Let's go into a new cell, paste it over here. So we're going to paste this one in there as well. So move down, we paste it. So paste this particular one over here. It's just optional, just for you to understand what's going on. So if I just go ahead and run this now, it's going to print this last one for me. Instead of me printing that last one alone, I'm going to use the print function over here. So we can do the same thing to this particular one. So we close this. So we can print this one as well. So it prints everything right here for me. So in case you want to make sure you show this and you want to make it to make a lot of sense, you can come over here and do earth inside here. I'm going to say total patients. So now here we have it. So this is just for the listing there, for the deceased or the casualties that we have. So what I'm going to do right now is just for me to copy this particular part alone here. I will come over here and just kind of do recovered patients. So we convert this to Markdown here. Okay, now we can add more cells to this. So we're going to calculate for recovered patients. So we are going to use this, and I'm going to copy the conversion here, which is this particular one as well. We are going to go ahead and just put it beneath here, right? So now we don't have to run this. We don't have to run this rate here. So what we need to do right now, this is actually going to be recovered patients. And over here, instead of us to show deceased right here, we're going to do recovered. So let's just quickly go over ahead and take a look at what it is that we have here. So we have it as recovered here, right? So we have the last one to be under treatment. Let's go over here now. So we have recovered here. So now this is total recovered. So total recovered. So we're going to copy this now. Instead of us to do this division, we do the deceased right here. We're going to do it this way, right? So what will happen if we decide to some kind of do recovered rate? So, and over here we do so recovered rate as well. So now, so we're having 0.0%, which is not going to be an ideal. Let's quickly look at what is going on here. So when we actually try to troubleshoot by showing up this particular one over here, so we have 0, which means there is some kind of issue with this calculation. So where could that come from? So over here, if you look at it right now, we have converted to lowercase. And if we go up here, we used lowercase after our conversion on this particular part right here. And now we are using caps for the first, letter. So we just have to do this. And if I hit my enter key right now, it gives me this number, which means once we actually use lowercase, we have to quickly make sure lowercase is what we're actually trying to search for in the midst of what we have in right here. That was why it gave us that error. So right now I can quickly show my recovery rate. Now it will definitely give me what I want. So now it's 85.2% approximately. Yeah. 2.2%. This is what we have as our recovered rate here. Can you see it now? So this is actually working. This is 5%. So the next thing I'm going to calculate right now is to calculate what is the rate of the under treatment. This time around, we don't have to write the same thing we have done right here. It's something very simple. Let me quickly show you how you can actually do this. So under treatment patients. So I just love to do this because it helps me to keep things clean right here. Okay, for under treatment right now, what I'm gonna do is just to do here all patients. So for all patients under treatment, what I'm going to do now is just to do 100 here minus so we're going to do open parentheses and close. So over here, what we're going to do now is to actually take our recovered rate right here. This is this particular percentage. So we're going to combine it together with the diseased one, which is this this particular one right here, right? So we go down, and what we do here is to do plus, right? So once we have done this right now, this should actually be passed into a variable. We can't just make it standalone. So we're going to call this one under treatment equals here. So if I just go ahead and do under treatment, so under treatment gives me 9.5. Can you see now? So we're almost there. So we have almost like 80% away from what we want. Then the next thing right now is to actually some kind of create a bar chart that will definitely help us to visualize this and make it to look better than what we have right now. So we have answered all this particular question right here in a percentage, but not in a normal percentage. They're just in decimal for now. So we're going to be treating that particular part when we actually start creating our chart. So right now we're going to show this. So to remember everything we have done quickly, we can actually come over here now and pick this up. So let's come over here and do print. So inside here, we're going to do total recovery rate here. So come over here, we do comma here. So this is the recovery rate. So we already have this particular casualty rate right here. We can copy this one. Then let's go over here and paste this over here. So if I go all the way up right now, the last one here is recovery rate. Recovery rate is giving us this. This one is treatment. So this is the treatment. So here we've actually, no, not this one, sorry. This is giving us recovery rate. Yes, recovery rate, that rate. Okay, we have to do for the treatment, which is this particular one right here. So for the other treatment, we just have to do something like print again. Okay, everything here as some kind of under normal decimal number is not bad. So we're going to look at this now and actually create our chart with this. So we are going to go straight up to the chart creation right now. So first of all, to plot our chart, we are going to do PLT. So we want to set a size for our chart. So how big, why it should be. So we're going to do dot over here. So when you do, let's say if you just do PLT dot and you put space and tab key, it will give you suggestions on what you can actually use to actually get this done right now. So we are looking for figure, so we can actually go ahead and look for. So here now, this is the figure right here. So it's optional. If you know it, you can actually type it in, but sometimes it helps you to make a suggestion to get what you want done. So right now, inside this parenthesis right here, I'm going to do FIG size, right? So we want to set the size to be equals inside the parenthesis again. So let's say we're going to use 8 as weight and the height to be 8, which is 8 by 8 is what we're going to use. Like this right here. So once we have this now, the next thing now is going to be the labels and everything converting to percentage as well. So we do PLT dot here. So this time around is going to be the chart we want to use. So we're gonna do pi. So sizes, comma, labels equals labels here. So under comma again, and auto percentage. So we're gonna do auto PCT for percentage. So it's gonna be equals. So inside single quotes, we're gonna pass in this particular percentage here, 1.1 of %. So we're gonna set the color. So colors equals colors right here. So starting, start angle, so equals 140. You can alter this particular number, but just let's create this. So we set the props double equals. So this is going to come inside a curly bracket right here. So if this is getting longer, you can actually, break it by coming over here now. You actually start this on a new line. So you mustn't have it on a straight line. So the new line right now. So this one now is going to be inside single quotes. So we set it to 2. So here we go. Now the next thing we have to do now is going to be plt again dot gca. So here we do dot add underscore plt dot circle. So inside here is going to be 0, 0, and we're going to do outside it, 0.770, so fc, so equals white. So this one should be passed inside double quotes, or single quotes rather. So we're going to have this closed. Close it outside here. So if I hit my enter, I'm going to have this, and it's giving me unmatched, which means there was a place where the bracket is wrongly some kind of closed, right? So let's quickly find out where that could be. So over here, we just have one bracket to be closed here. So now we don't run into any error. So the error is okay. We have an error. So size is not actually defined right here. So let us look at this here. It says sizes is not defined. So this is another error we have here. Let's see this there. So truly we have not defined the sizes. So let's quickly go up here now to have that defined. So if I come up here, I can do, first of all, let's do label. So this could be anything you like, but you can keep it at what I'm just doing right now for you to be able to follow along. So we have a list here, and inside this particular list is the list of what we want to show on our donut chart right here. So we're going to do recovered. So comma. So inside here again on that list will be diseased, and the last one will be under treatment. So this is it here. So this is what we want to have as labels. So the next thing now is for you to have the sizes. So make sure this particular sizes here has the same thing as this particular one, right? So once we have this, it's going to be equals. So for the size now, what do we want to have under recovered here? So under recovered here, we want to have the percentage of the recovered. So that was why I actually brought this right here. So now here, we're going to use this particular one. So it's going to be passed into another list. So here, place this in here. So put a comma. So for this one now, the list is this particular rate over here. So we can paste this one in as well. And lastly, it's going to be under treatment. If you look at it right now, I'm following the hierarchy over here. If you look at it, recovered come first. And here we have recovered. The list, we have this rate. And under treatment, we have this particular under treatment, right here. This other treatment should actually have rate, but we can leave it this way, no problem. So we have this right now. The next thing is that we want to set the color. If I just hit my enter key right now, it says colors is not actually defined. So we want to set the color for every single one, recovered, diseased, and as well under treatment. We want to set color for them. So what do? Let's go down here and do colors. So the colors now will be equals. So we pass this inside a list. So inside single quotes, let's do green for recovered. So green. So remember, you can use a color code right here. So for this particular disease, we want to use red. And the last one, let's go with some kind of gray. Yeah, like this. Okay, now we have this. Let's see if we run this. Let's see what we're going to have. So we have nothing. There is no error. Okay, we have an error. Let's quickly go down, take a look at what the error is. The error is incomplete format. Okay, no problem, incomplete format. And we have this huge whatever here. So we're going to take a look at how we can actually format this quickly. Let's go up and see what we are missing. So over here. So we should do plt dot show. So if we still have this error, that means we just flopped somewhere. Let's quickly take a look at where the error might come from, because right now we have gotten things done the way it should be. So if you look at it right now, this particular incomplete format, let's go over here and find out what could be the issue. Okay, over here we need to actually add, under percent. So if I go ahead and run this right now, so it gives me something close to what I want. But over here, if you look at it, it says model. So Matplotlib here has no attribute as cycle. It has. Let's see what we have done. Okay, I think I can remove this now to confirm if we have this as an attribute. So with a space and tab key, we can actually try to search for cycle right here. If it is existing, that means we have it. Why is it not working? Here we have it as a class. So if I go ahead and put this right here right now and have this to run, so it works. So the problem we have before was because this was actually on a small letter. Let's see what happens. So if it's on a small letter, it will tell us that there is nothing like this existing. So we have to make sure we put it on caps. That is something very important that you must know, right? So now there is no any issue right in here. So for the size, let's quickly go over here now. I told you we can play around with this. Let's go with 12. So with 12 now, we can actually come over here and do 10. So you can just affect it to just give you something you want. So if you look at it right now, we have under treatment, we have diseased, and we have recovered. So 85% is actually the number, the rate of the recovery rate that we have. So if you look at it right now, it takes huge amount of space here compared to others, right? So this is exactly what we want to see. So if we go on a recap right now, this particular part here is actually giving us this particular label we have right here, diseased and under treatment plus this particular recovered here. So now we try to actually show the percentage of the recovery rate which is what we are seeing right now. And this particular percentage, you have 85.2 right here. So now for the color red and green plus gray, so is the color of our chart. That is exactly what we have right there. So if we come over here now, we have this particular figure, and we have the size here that I just changed right now. So what we have done here is to set the chart size to 12 by 10 inches, right? So you can actually alter it. You can actually do anything you like with this particular one right here. So we have this particular PLT pie right here. This actually helps you to create this particular chart. That is exactly what it has done. So the size is actually the data value, which is what you have right in here, is the data value, which is this particular percentages we have right in here. So while this particular label here is the name, diseased, under treatment, and recovered, that is exactly what we have right there. And the next thing now is this particular part where it says auto PCT, auto percentage. This helps you to display the percentage with one decimal place. That is what this particular place helps you to actually do. So knowing how to bring all of this together matters a lot. You get it right now. So this particular part here some kind of helps you to assign value. So to your colors, can you see? It helps you to assign values to your colors. So let us change this one and see what this will do. If I just do 14 and let's go. Can you see how it is right now? It's just changing this. It has actually changed it. So if I do, let's say I do 200. Now this is what we have. Can you see? It's some kind of rotating this for us. So I think what we have used before will be what is an ideal. So let's go with our 140. So 140 makes it look normal. So you can change it to anything you like, right? So this particular part here, which is this particular part. So what it does is to actually add white border. Can you see this particular white border that differentiates red from blue and gray from the red right now? That is exactly what this particular place has done. So you can actually change this particular number here to like 6. And if I run this right now, take a look at it, we have this to be much more. So if you don't want something very huge, you can just put it at 1. And here you go, you have it to be some kind of a little bit tiny. So this is what you will have right in here. So under this particular part here, this GCA, so what it does is to actually add a white hole, which is this particular part right here for you, a white hole in the center to convert the pie chart into a donut chart. This is what it is. So, and dot show help us to show this. And here we go. We have something like this. Very easy, right? So if you can actually follow it from importing the data and answering the first question by just helping us to get the total patients that we have and calculating the diseased. And over here, we do the rate. And right here, we try to combine them together. And we came over here, we do the recovered. And instead of us to do for the treatment, we actually combine the recovered rate plus the death rate, and we subtract 100 from it and gives us this particular percentage right here. And we combine everything together to actually show it up here. And later, after all, we created our chart with this particular one, and it's exactly what we have right in here right now. So what about this? Very interesting, right? So I believe this particular one will definitely help you to actually learn a lot and see how you can actually apply this on your own personal projects. So see you in my next videos.